Libya's parliament appointed a new prime minister on Thursday. The House of Representatives said its decision followed PM Abdul Hamid Dbeibda's failure to hold presidential elections in December. After the Speaker of the House obtained the required recommendations from the High Council of State and candidate Khaled Al-Baibas was unable to obtain the required recommendations from the High Council of State, the House of Representatives voted to grant confidence to Mr. Fathi Bashagha as head of the next government with the unanimous consent of the representatives present in today's session. Libya now has two prime ministers, which deepens division between Eastern and Western administrations. In a Tripoli souk, some don't welcome the move. Let them continue the way it was and try to reach an understanding to speed up the constitution drafting and proceed with the elections. They should focus on these matters. What is important is the goal behind the changing of government. Does it resolve the problems that the roadmap failed to solve? Or are we repeating the same thing, that is, a new roadmap with no clear program, no targets, and that doesn't offer solutions to the problems that the Agreement of Geneva failed to address? Bashagha's administration will have the mission to lead the country to elections, a mandate that was agreed to under a UN-mediated peace process. But Dbeibda, who received that mandate first, said he would only hand over power to an elected government.
Lagos is experiencing an increase in the number of fitness centers due to residents' desire to take part in physical activities. According to the 2020 World Health Organization guidelines on physical activity and sedentary behavior, people who are insufficiently active have a 20% to 30% increased risk of death compared to people who are sufficiently active. In different parts of the city, residents visit the gymnasiums they can afford. For these fitness enthusiasts, keeping fit is important for healthy living.
Exercise is good for your body at all the time.
I do come here to be fit. If you exercise much, you free up space, it gets you fit, you can do anything you want.
The Nigerian fitness industry took a hit with the emergence of COVID-19 after the closure of gyms and fitness centers due to the imposition of lockdown by the Nigerian government in 2020. Following the lifting of the lockdown, the government put in place some sanitary measures for fitness centers to reopen with limited attendance.
Most of 2020, this facility was closed for public. And most of us, we are mostly indoor then.
I have to regulate the people that are coming. You are coming today, you are not coming tomorrow. Because you don't have card because of the COVID-19 of thing. So you have space.
Upon entering the gym here, you still had to sanitize your hand, right? Now, after sanitizing your hand, we had different sanitizers placed in strategic places in the gym, right? And then we made sure that we demarcate, meters between how people can stay and how far people can interact and everything.
To stay fit, Lagosians believe there is no better time than now to start living healthy.
Workout is becoming a norm in Lagos. For Lagosians, it is a serious business. According to them, since health is wealth, there is need for them to exercise always. For African News, David Taylor reporting in Lagos.
7, 8, 9.
For coffee grower Farah Al-Malki, growing coffee plants in Saudi Arabia's southwestern region of Jizan is more than just a job. It is a tradition passed down from generation to generation. The kingdom has a long history with coffee, which spread from Ethiopia to Yemen and then to the rest of the Middle East around the 15th century. Coffee remains an integral part of Saudi culture. I inherited the farm from my father, who I used to work with, and I'm passing it on to my children, who also work with me. I hope that my grandchildren work there too, in the coffee farm. By the end of 2021, the kingdom's 600 farms produced around 800 tons of coffee a year, a fraction of what Ethiopia produces. According to domestic reports, Saudi Arabia plans to plant 1.2 million coffee trees by 2025. Coffee growing is a legacy and everyone should preserve it. Coffee farming is an instinct that is passed from generation to generation. Saudi Arabia has sought to include its cultivation of Kavlani coffee beans on the list of UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage of humanity. For this coffee grower, it would be a dream come true. My dream is to fulfill my father's hope to continue our work in the farm, and hopefully I will pass it on to my children and grandchildren, and it will be our source of income. If the Kavlani coffee beans were to be included on the UNESCO list, then this would help in supporting farmers and preserving coffee trees. Saudi Arabia has designated 2022 as the year of Saudi coffee. The authorities have already instructed restaurants and cafes to use the term Saudi coffee instead of Arabic coffee.
Members of South Africa's opposition are now giving their reactions after President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered a State of the Nation address Thursday morning, promising decisive action to stem corruption. Ramaphosa quoted the report about the July 2021 riot published this week, saying government's initial handling of the events was inept.
The panel found that Cabinet must take overall responsibility.
The speech was held at the Cape Town City Hall, and for the first time since democracy outside of the South African Parliament, following the fire that destroyed the National Assembly in January.
The President has given up. He doesn't have an alternative, and like we said in the opening of Parliament when we were speaking, that the expert report effectively suggests that this government must resign, because our government and the country is on an autopilot.
He is very good in analyzing the problems of South Africa, but again, he lacks in coming forward with practical, workable solutions for these problems. And for the first time, the President now openly said that jobs can only be actually created by the private sector and not the government. That's what the Freedom Front Plus told him the last couple of years. That is how it works.
South Africa's economy, already battered by 2 years of strict COVID-19 restrictions, took another hit at the end of last year.
Tunisian lawyers and magistrates staged a demonstration Thursday protesting a threat by the president to dissolve the national judiciary body. President Kais Saied blamed corruption for his move, but after uproar, the justice minister said the president only intended to make minor changes. This is a communications tactic, a media tactic. We do not trust the Minister of Justice or the President of the Republic. Today, damage is being done to the independence of the judiciary by the dissolution of the Superior Council of the Judiciary. Condemnation of the president's announcement was swift. The opposition quickly branded the move as an attempted power grab. This is a first. It is inconceivable that the President of the Republic holds all three powers in his hands. This is a huge step backwards. We're here today to tell him that he should revise this position, that he should review this approach, that it contrasts with the spirit of the rule of law that is based on the separation of powers. Last July, after nationwide anti-government protests, Saied dismissed his prime minister, assumed all executive powers and froze parliament. He's been ruling by decree since then, throwing several lawmakers and businessmen in jail on corruption charges.